Facebook. This is Pastor David, and we are again for another session of Easy Dharma for Difficult Times. And today I'll be talking about cutting attachment without giving it up. I repeat, I'm going to talk about cutting attachment without giving it up. That's going to be interesting. So before we begin, let me see if I'm online and just to see who's online and comments and stuff. It's loading. So just okay, I see myself now. I see no one, but it's okay. And just while we wait for more people to come on, a little recap. The last session I did was on 2 days ago. It was on how people come onto the Dharma, and I think we had a pretty good session. We had people sharing, and also of their own experiences, and I shared my own experience of how I got onto the Dharma through Rinpoche, and then also various scenarios that I remember of people, because everybody comes to the Dharma in a different manner, in a different way, and different avenues. So it was interesting. And also we talked about various aspects of it, and I give some, a little bit of advice based on being a pastor and also advising people who are new in the Dharma. So it was pretty good. And yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people hi Yanping. Now only I see your hello, good evening, and whoever else is coming on. Before I go into it, let me go on to why I chose to talk about this. From time to time, I get some comments from people about, if this is attachment, if this is bad, if this is, like doing housework. I think there was a comment for Pastor Neral about doing housework, whether it was an attachment and whether it's bad. And then there's also, in some of our talks in the past, we talked about just sitting down and watching TV can be a form of attachment or a form of laziness, whatever it is. So something simple as watching TV can be attachment. So that sounds scary. And of course, there's various. Oh, hi, good evening, Pastor Tapming. Nice of you to join us. So we everybody has some sort of attachment one way or another, from food. Malaysians' favorite pastime / attachment. It's a big one. Food, it is something that everybody, in any Malaysian, you just go to any Malaysian, you ask them about food, about durian, about, if it's bentong, it's always durian or ginger, or where's a good place for pan mee and all that, So, simple things like that is an attachment. It can be anything. Attachments varies from person to person. And I also defined what attachment was in a previous talk. I'll go and do it a little bit. Okay. And if you don't mind, maybe you want to tell me what your simple attachments in life that you cannot go without. Perhaps, it's your afternoon tea. Perhaps it's your shopping on Saturday, your family time, your me time. Oh, this favorite catchphrase for the English people are me time. After work, they go to Coffee Bean, or they go to Starbucks, or they go to their favorite restaurant, their favorite cafe, to sit down and meet up with some friends, yum cha, the mamak for some of us. Whatever it is, your favorite bar, your favorite watering hole, your favorite disco, your favorite, some library, some people, maybe not many. So whatever it is, we all have our favorite attachments. What is an attachment? Let's revisit it a bit. Attachment is it can be anything. It can be an object. Usually, I mean, the easiest to relate for most people when you talk about attachment is usually an item, a material item, a material object. It could be your favorite car. I know in my talks I always talk about car because that's one of my attachments. Your car, your handbag, your computer, your gadget, your your sofa. Some people, your furniture, your house. It can be any of those things. Your favorite watch, your clothes, whatever material items that you have, whatever material possession that you may possess can be a form of attachment. And it could be a person, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children, your best friend, your BFF, your colleague, your crush. For some young people, I don't know if there's anybody young watching this. Your someone you have a crush on, someone you like, you fancy, someone in the office, someone in school, someone in college, someone in your workplace, your factory, wherever you are. There'll be someone you favor over others. So it's a form of attachment. Sometimes it could be the personality. Sometimes it could be, it could be the appearance. You think they're good looking, handsome, beautiful, sexy, pretty. So all these terms, all these words that are used, adjectives, is obvious forms of attachment because that's what we see those people for. It could be their personality, or you like the way they talk, you find them, sexy or attractive because they know so much, or the way the voice, the way they talk, or it could be the appearance. Why does the word sound come up weird? Appearance. It could be the way they dress, they're stylish. It could be, the hairstyle. I don't know, whatever people, everybody has, there's so many different types of people, so many preferences. That's one form of attachment. I spoke about material items, I spoke about people, and then the last one is circumstances, situations. Some of us are very attached to comfort zone. I mean, in Kechara, we tend to use this term a lot, but it's quite universal. Most people know about it when you hear it, So it could be a situation where you feel most comfortable with. Perhaps it's a situation like being at home. Perhaps, you see, at the moment, it's, in the past, it was because you get a choice to go out, go to work, your life revolves out, in, out, in, out. So, but your general preference is at home. But now that you're stuck at home, perhaps it's not really your best place right now because, it's the MCO, Movement Control Order. So that's the thing about attachment. When we have, when we don't have it, we grasp onto it. We only see its good qualities, and we tend to neglect. It's also important, the bad aspects of it, the bad qualities, for example, the amount of money you spend on your attachments. I pause there for it to sink in. And then it could be the amount of time you spend on your attachments. They could have been spent on something else. You could be budgeted. Time is like a budget. When we table a budget at work, when we do accounts, accounting, we try to balance things out, but we tend to overbalance for our attachments. We allocate more time. It could be, we also see only the bad things. So we are infatuated. Basically, it's a form of infatuation with an item, with a person, with a situation, because it runs out eventually. It runs out. So when we have something new, it's like I think it's a Chinese expression. It's a new toilet bowl, 新洗行, which means that it's so brand new. You want to use it, you want to touch it, you want to get close to it. You want to, you want to have it. You look at it all the time. You smell it. Of course, I'm not talking of the toilet bowl. Of course, I'm talking of the new item that, your new handbag, your new car, the new car smell. But it wears out. New car smells wears out. Oh, okay, I see some other people come on. Hi, Mr. Lam. Car must be clean. And then I see Chung, and he's asking, is this live or recording? It's live. Sorry, I just went rattling on because, it's funny. And then Mr. Lam says live. Too many to list down. Attachments, yes, that's right. I was actually rolling down the attachments so that, I was waiting for more people to come on. But anyway, this is live. This is live here. Pastor David is talking to you live from Kechara Forest Retreat. So anyway, my point in telling you that is to define what attachments is. And a lot of our attachments are attachments because we find it difficult to let go of it. That's the thing. When we don't have it first, we don't have it, we grasp onto it. Meaning we spend an inordinate amount of time, effort, and money to acquire it. It could be a material item, it could be your favorite girl, your favorite boy, become husband, become something else. And then or it could be a situation when you do everything to protect yourself and to make sure you are comfortable, to make sure that nobody offends you. It could be your self-esteem, as in your face. The Asian thing is a face. Face means is how do I define face? Face is kind of like a pride, and when people say things that or do things that makes you lose face, as in Asia we call it lose face, meaning to embarrass you or to put you down or to joke about you, you get offended. So that's your face is an attachment. I'm not talking your physical face, your pride, your self-esteem. So not really self-esteem, more of your pride. So what happens is it could be any of these, right? And we have so many. And now that we have entered the door of Dharma, and we've understood about attachment, you still have your attachments, big or small. It could be your me time or your coffee time. It could be your free time. It could be your car. It could be your house. It could be your handbag, whatever it is. You still have it, and you still cherish those things, and you still have attachments for those things. Although there are attachments, sometimes people call it creature comforts. Creature comforts are obviously attachments. The little pleasures of life that we have, and I think most of us, the thing about attachments is we tend to take it very lightly, in a sense that we think that when we have these things, it's all right. It's okay. We're not harming anybody. It does not harm anybody. But the thing is, what happened is, hi David Chu, welcome. The thing is, when we have these attachments, and the stronger our attachment to these things, it's not only that when we lose it, we suffer, You know what Rinpoche told me? Rinpoche told me that the stronger your attachment is, the bigger your negative karma. The more negative karma you accumulate, not as in the karma that you accumulate from having your attachments is not something like killing and stealing, all that, but it will reach that point one day. So when we accumulate a lot of, when we hold on to our attachments, not accumulate, hold on to our attachments, and you see, having those things is not the attachment. Please don't misconstrue what attachment is. Having those things are not attachment. What is attachment is the grasping for it, and when we lose it, we cannot let go. We are hurt. We are offended. We react. Why? Because we want it. We grasp onto it. We only focus on its superficial value, like your wife. For some of us, it's the wife have to be like this, like this, like this, like this. Then eventually, your wife, they have lots of responsibilities. They have to take care of the house. So, and then as we age, they change, and our view of them also have to change. Sometimes we don't want to change. So what's my point? My point is that all of us have a certain fixed view of our attachments and how it should be and must remain as it is. And when we lose it, we are hurt. And then on top of that, there's negative karma, blah, blah, blah. I'll just now give you a doomsday thing about negative karma. Yes. So that's why this whole session was inspired, because I have a lot of attachments and I'm aware of it. And Rinpoche also told me the same thing, that I have a lot of attachments, and hence what happens is, he said that because I have a lot of attachments, obstacles can come from attachments, just holding on to attachments. So that there's negative karma involved. So in order to overcome attachments, I'm going to share a few things I've learned from Rinpoche over the years, and of how to deal with it, how to have these attachments and actually cut our attachments and have it at the same time. Because most of us will not be at a point where we read the Lamrim and we do a few retreats and suddenly, voila, eureka, I'm enlightened, I'm renounced, I don't need all my attachments anymore, I cut half my attachments. Probably not for many of us. Perhaps for a small minority, yes, but for most of us, and especially those who are probably watching me right now, would probably be in the category of, they will still have attachments to, even after reading Lamrim, even after doing our practices and retreats. But having said that, I do not deny their power and effectiveness in cutting our attachments, okay? So, any questions about what I've talked so far, in a sense of what is attachment and why, please share. Hi, Christine. Hi, welcome. Hi. And hi, Sharon. Welcome to Easy Dharma for Difficult Times. I'm talking about how to have attachments, how to cut attachments while still having it. And what am I talking about? Is referring to those things that we all attach to that we are attached to. And why do we need to cut attachment while having it? Because actually, I just said it earlier, the key is that the item, the possession, the person, the loved one, the situation is not the attachment. It's our grasping to it. It's our reaction to it when it changes. For example, the item becomes old. And then let's say we bought something really expensive, like a car, and then the first day you get a deep scratch or you bump, and it's going to cost you 4,000 ringgit to fix it. Imagine the pain. Imagine the frustration, rather, not really the pain, the frustration of that. So that's the whole point. So how to overcome that, how to overcome all these attachments how to have these things and cut the attachment, that's what I'm going to talk about. So before I go into, what's the difference between attachment and habituation? Attachment, as is traditionally defined, is an object, person or situation that we magnify when we see it. we receive for its good qualities, and when we have it, when we don't have it, we grasp at it. When we have it, we cannot bear to lose it. That's attachment. Habituation is something else. Habituation it's a thought process that we repeat over and over. It doesn't have to. It can be about something we attach to, in relation to something we attach to. Most of the time, it is, or it could be something else. It's just when we habitually do something over and over again. That's a habituation. So it's quite different. Of course, it overlaps, meaning most of what we do in life is out of attachment. Most of the things that we do in life, meaning we strive for excellence in school, academic excellence, because we are attached to. Some people are attached to being, how do you say, for the fame, for looking good. Some people it's because they want to get out of an economic situation. Some people, everybody is driven differently, but it's attachment. And everything, in your jobs, in your careers, at home, your favorite child is attachment. Your favorite relative is an attachment. Your favorite TV show is an attachment. Your favorite dish is an attachment. Your favorite chair is an attachment. Everything. So there's a lot of things is covered under attachment. So it's not surprising that most of our habitual thinking and thought process is due to attachment. So attachment is the underlying habituated thoughts and rather actions, habituated actions. I hope I define it properly and easily for you to understand, David. Okay, and so where was I? Oh yeah, I was going to go to the how do we cut it. So because the methods used is it's to do with the esoteric teachings of Tantra. Okay, in Buddhism, there's a genre of teachings. Okay, there's a group of teachings that covers the esoteric aspects of the Buddhist teachings. Esoteric means something that is usually in Buddhism they like to use secret teachings. It's esoteric that are not openly given out like the other teachings. It's something that's given only to select few students. So, but the methods I'm going to present to you is actually derived from these esoteric teachings, Tantra. The word is Tantra. And please bear in mind, Tantra has got nothing to do with sex, sex, bubuli. Rinpoche used the word bubuli. Bubuli is Rinpoche's terminology for, copulation. So what happened is Tantra, in a nutshell, okay, Tantra is a special teachings that is, there's a few simple description that I would like to present to you. The word Tantra, Tantra, literally means continuity. And continuity is referring to the mind. One life after another, after another. It's an aspect of the mind, the subtle part of the mind, the subtlemost part of the mind that continues on from one life to another. Because the most part of our mind, the gross part where we use on a daily basis, is called the gross mind, will dissolve at the point of death. So in Tantra, what happened is what we want to touch, reach is the deepest most, and this is where all our karmic seeds are stored. Okay, so Tantra, the word Tantra is referring to that continuity of the mind. Or sometimes they say it's a thread, but actually it just means continuity. So another description of it, of this genre of teachings is the fruit. Sorry, the path. So the path. Oh, sheesh, I got it wrong.
Okay, path and its fruit.
The path as the fruit. No, the fruit as the path. Yeah, the fruit is the path. Now, the words I may not be able to give you verbatim, my deepest, most apology, but what it is it's got to do with a tantric method where the fruit, which is the goal, which is Buddhahood, you use it as the path. The path in the fruit. Labdre, right? The path in the fruit. So what does that mean is that there's a lot of before we reach enlightenment, we visualize ourselves as an enlightened being first. It's visualization for the time being in practice, but the actual practice revolves deities. The methods I'm going to use has got nothing to do with that. The involves visualization, special meditations that require a guru to give you a initiation, a special ritual to initiate you into the practice. So I will not cover this. It's just that the methods are used. Okay, it's derived from Tantra. Sorry, not used in Tantra. Derived from Tantra. So there are two methods I have in mind. One of them is this. The fruit is the path. That's what Chung said. And what happened is one of the methods, okay, that Rinpoche talked about actually is Institute Ladrang, is that everything that Rinpoche receives as a gift is offered up on the altar first. Okay? And you're thinking, how is that a method? That maybe in a blue moon, maybe my birthday, I do get a gift. So there's one way. So what happened is whatever, since we don't get gifts, we can make the offering and make the offering, from ourselves. So making offerings it seemed very simple. It seemed very, it's not very tantric, but it is tantric because the reason for it is to generate. Because, and also to cut attachment to, how do I say this? You see, when we have the thing is in Kechara, what Rinpoche recommends is when we make offerings, right? We're not making to a wall or to a simple line drawing. Rinpoche usually having the best items or offering items of objects of offering, which is silver bowls, which is butter lamps, which is Tibetan in nature, but it's precious. It's silver. Sometimes it's copper. It's expensive. Sustainability. The idea is what happened is, for some people, some Buddhists will say that it encourages materialism, spiritual materialism, but you see what happens is it's material. It's material, so you don't see it as a method to cut our attachments, but you see, all of us have attachment to something precious. All of us have attachment to money. All of us have attachment to beautiful things. So when we use that, when we offer that, what happens is you cut the attachment by offering. Technically, is because we have to invest in it. That's why the more offerings you make, the more merits you create. Where does the merits is generated? The merits generated actually is from you cutting your attachment. Is when you spend the money, spend the time to invest in those things. And that's how you cut your attachment at one level. Okay, so simple is most of us, Rinpoche has said, for most of us, when you look at Kecharians, right, most of us, the biggest source of us making merit is not that, we're going to do great retreats, long-term retreats. Most of us would probably not. Most of us, our greatest source of our merits will be from our altar. So the state of our altar, the offerings that we make, how regular we make the offerings, and how we do it. Is it because we feel the attitude we make the offerings is a form. Every step of the way is a form of a cutting attachment. Hence, there's a teaching called Jocho, which I won't go into it today, but Jocho, which means you clean your altar, you set up things, and there's a certain manner in which you set out offerings formally. Normally, you set up the offerings in order to generate the merits. We always say generate merits, but actually how the merits is generated is cutting of attachment. So there's one powerful way, one most effective. I bring it first. I have something else in mind, but I bring it forward. First, main method, main object that we can collect a lot of merits and cut a lot of our attachments through our altar. So it seemed very simple. It seemed very, that's it. Actually it's more than it. It's the amount of regularity, with how regular and how much faith you do. Attachments we cut. So we shouldn't do it just because it's convenient, or because it's when we feel like it. We should do it as regular as we can. I know for some people, for most busy individuals, it will be difficult to do like every day. Maybe not every day, but keep it clean as much as we can. Altars are a representation of our practice. Okay, for all of us, for most of us, actually all of us, for those who are. Okay, I have a comment here. It's the only method to transform your mind, but it's a very effective method in this day and age, provided you are ready for it. No, I'm not talking of Tantra to transform the mind. I'm talking of the basis of the methods I'm saying, Chung. The basis of these methods come from Tantra. Okay, the basis of why we offer precious items. You will notice in Tibetan Buddhism, compared to other traditions, have this heavy emphasis. Look at what Lama Tsongkhapa did to Joel Rinpoche in the crown that he offered, the jewels that he offered. The reason for it and the result of it, because his motivation is very high, so his result is very high. So if for us, motivation and why we do offerings and practice is very important. We don't generate enough motivation, and we don't consciously do it enough. We do it, most of us do it mechanically when we make our prayers, when we make offerings. Hence, actually, what's recommended is usually the formal prayers, the dedicational prayers, which is wonderful, but have a form of aspiration and motivation. That's how we cut attachment, because when we do it mechanically, it's just going to be, it's just going to be mechanical, mindless. Someone mentioned in one of, I think, Pastor Neral's talk about, what if you do things mechanically? What kind of karma comes back? Do we collect negative, positive karma? So you see, a lot of the times, what I think about when we do it mechanically is that automatically, what comes naturally to us is usually a selfish mind, a self-centered mind. So what happens is, instead of collecting merits, we don't collect merits. So hence, we do the prayers and the set prayers that is designed to invoke enlightenment, invoke selflessness, invoke enlightenment, invoke compassion, wisdom. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, I'm going to move on to other aspects of making offerings. Rinpoche taught this to me, that whenever you buy something for yourself, for example, if you buy clothes, for example, if you buy a hat, for example, if you buy a cologne, for example, you could be buying a handbag, preferably not made of leather, but I know some of you, I mean, this is preferably not lah, because it's a dead animal skin. But there are mantras you can recite, like medicine Buddha mantras, to blow onto it. But my point is that when you buy anything for yourself, even a car, right? There are ways to cut the attachment. How do you do that? Visualization. This happened to me. This teaching was given to me many years ago. I remember I went with Rinpoche on a trip to Bali, and I didn't bring enough clothes, and my clothes was ill-fitting that time. And Rinpoche said that, "Oh, I'll bring you shopping." So I went to some shops in Bali, and then he bought me some clothes. And then while he gave the clothes for me to try, he gave me this teaching. He said that at this moment, you should visualize, when you put on a new clothes, you should visualize yourself as a yidam. Okay, for most of you who have no initiation, or who do not have initiation, you cannot visualize yourself as yidam. What is a yidam? Yidam is your main meditational deity that you have an initiation of. If you do not have an initiation, Lama Tsongkhapa will be your yidam, or a deity that was recommended by a Buddha deity that was recommended by Rinpoche. So what happens is if you do not have initiation, you can visualize Lama Tsongkhapa, this small, about an inch, above thumb's length, on your head. And when you put on the clothes, you make the visualization that you're offering to Lama Tsongkhapa. If it's a cap, to Lama Tsongkhapa. If it's a car, it's for Lama Tsongkhapa to sit. Just use imagination. During that time, if you want to recite mantras, it's okay, it's permissible. Rinpoche did not tell me to recite mantras, he just told me to visualize. It's fine. So, and the basis and the reason for it is to cut our attachment to new things, to beautiful objects. All right? So that's how you cut attachments to these things. And I can immediately imagine someone is going to ask me, what about my wife? What about my boyfriend, my irritating boyfriend? Can I just offer up some kappa because I'm bored? No, I'm just kidding. No, you don't. For people, you don't do things like that. What happens is to cut attachment to people is not the same. It's objects. For people, Rinpoche has not actually specifically mentioned of how to cut attachment, but what Rinpoche has taught is two things. Is that we always, when we find, like for example, someone we had a relationship with, initially our huge attachment for these, this Casanova, this beautiful princess, beauty queen, we have this huge attachment to it. Then over time, things change, things fall south. We accumulate size and volume, put on weight lah. So what happens is our view of things change, and then people get comfortable. People get used to you, and we get used to them. So the bad habits appear. So what happens is to cut our attachment to those beautiful things. Prior attachment to their appearance, prior attachment to their personality, whatever it is to recall the reason why we went into the relationship with. So that's how you cut the attachment to people. People is different, objects is different, and for most people, our attachment, very strong attachment, will be to material things, especially for us Malaysians, because we are pretty much wealthy people. We accumulate a lot of material items throughout the course of our life. So we have a lot of when we have a lot of items, when we have a lot of material possessions, our attachments become very heavy. Okay, especially if we have a lot. Oh, so I see that there's some obstacle. Am I still live there?
Yeah.
I'm still live, right? Okay, so anyway, I'll continue on. Sorry about that. What happens is that is one method of dealing with our attachments. It's very, very important, and we should put it into practice, into regular practice, not just when we feel like it or once in a while, because when we do these things, it does not immediately eliminate our attachments. It will not do that with just one or two attempts. It's got to be a consistent attempt at every time when we receive something, every time when we deal with people, we have to see that, remember why we got into the in relationship with this person, what good qualities of this person, even if it's not a loved one, a person, if it's someone like a colleague or whatever, you to see them for their good qualities, not just their bad. Always have a balance. So when we balance our view of people, whether it's a loved one, someone we cannot stand, or someone who is a total stranger, when we can equalize all of them, that's when our attachments are dramatically, drastically reduced. Isn't desire inbuilt into our DNA? Okay, this is a question from Chung. Isn't desire inbuilt into our DNA? If this is the case, how do we transmute it into a method of liberation? Chung, what you're trying to say is that desire is physical? Or it's just an expression, I think. I think from what you're trying to say is it's an expression. That means it's inherent in us, right? In our existence. Yes, it is. How do you transmute it into a method of liberation? I just said it. So to cut, because desire is one huge aspect of desire, a huge one is our attachments. So how do we cut it? So I'm introducing you guys to tantric methods that Rinpoche has taught, where we offer it onto our altars. We have our best altars to cut our attachments. The better the offerings, the more the abundant offerings, the better the vessels, according to our means, of course, the more attachment we cut. One of the aspects of why you cut attachment is because of how we view these, the value of the items we offer, and at the same time, it's the object. The power of transmutation, as you call it, is the object, which is the 3 jewels. So when we offer it, we cut the attachment. Another one is when we receive items, when we buy items, when we reward ourselves, when we have our me time, we make an offering. I also know about some people, what they do is whenever they go out to drink or whenever they go for a coffee or break, they always order an extra drink to offer to the protector. They always remember. And people like food, when we eat during meal times, there are prayers that we can recite, we can memorize, or we can see it on the phone, save it on the phone, and recite as an offering to the 3 jewels, as an offering to the Dharma protector. You answer yourself, Chung. Yes, it is inherent. The moment we are born, actually, we shouldn't say it's inherent, Chung. Desire is not inherent in us. It's not. It's just that it's pervasive of our existence. Pervasive and inherent is different. Inherent means it is permanent, it cannot change. Our desire can be eliminated, can be removed. And desire, and in this case, desire and attachment is synonymous. Okay? Why is it synonymous? It's because at this point of practice, everything that we have, everything we strive for is motivated by attachment at this point, because we have not realized the true nature of existence. We have not realized, our ability to perceive things directly. We only see through our eyes, which is clouded by our ignorance, hatred, and desire. What is ignorance, hatred, and desire? Desire here is attachment. Remember? The 3 poisons: ignorance. Everything is motivated by ignorance or non-awareness. And this is the most bottommost, the basis of everything we do: unawareness. Unawareness of the true nature of how things are, unawareness of how the causes of suffering, unawareness of how, the way we think, the way we operate leads us to suffering. So that's the basis. And then from it comes hatred and attachment. Okay, or desire. Desire and attachment, sometimes it's defined as attachment, sometimes it's defined as desire. So, and then hatred. Hatred is just the opposite side of desire. Okay? The moment we are born, we suckle. Okay, I think that's a comment. David says that's just it. Samsara is designed to ensure that we fail, isn't it? Samsara is designed based on our actions, based on our ignorance, our non-awareness of how things are. So when we intellectually know this, doesn't mean that we have realized it. We have not. So it takes it takes a bit of practice, effort to realize, to overcome attachment, to overcome desire, to overcome ignorance. Underlying it is ignorance. That's the harder one. That's the one that requires us to a lot of merits, a lot of cutting of desire. Okay? So right now, what happens is I've taught you one method, which is to offer everything that we received. It could be a paycheck, it could be a dividend for your investment, it could be the meal that you eat every day, is to generate that habit to make offerings all the time. And you do not need to make offerings at your altar, but if you're at home, please do so. It's wonderful, because for all of us, your altar, your shrines, your personal shrines should be your main portal of making merit, because that's what it is. That's what the point of having a shrine is, for you to cut your attachment. It's the main place you cut your attachment. It's the main place to generate merit. It's the main place to protect the enlightened beings, Dodi Shukden, Lama Tsongkhapa, Vajrayogini, and so forth. Okay? So if you're at home, you can make offerings. If you're at work, you can visualize. Perhaps for, in Kechara, okay. So I'm so sorry, but we have a little